Over the recent years, analog horror has made a huge popularity on YouTube. You most likely have seen some, or even heard some. A few of them could be the Walton Files, the Mandela Catalog, or one of the many thousands or even millions of FNAF VHS tapes that linger on YouTube. However, I have stumbled upon a channel, and it's probably one of the most interesting, creative, and terrifying analog horror series. While some of your analog horror videos will probably be based around lost tapes or some kind of entity roaming around your town or some kind of civilization, this doesn't follow that same routine. This is more grounded, should I say. This feels more realistic, as it's more broadcast as a police documentation rather than just some lost tape found in the woods. Today we're going to be going over the analog horror series made by Urban Spook. As of recording this, there's only been 3 videos uploaded to the channel, and we'll be going over them in order. The first video is titled Faces. The first few seconds of the video shows us a warning, saying obviously that some of the content could be disturbing to viewers and that it should be advised. And I kind of agree with this. We are then shown a victim of a murder. Apparently the person was stabbed 36 times and all their teeth have been removed. After that, we are shown a portrait that has been left near the scene. After this, we are shown another stabbing victim, except this time they were stabbed in a very uncomfortable area, to say the least, and afterwards drowned. There was also another picture that followed up with this victim. We, the viewer, then realize after these few pictures that this isn't some kind of entity or taking these pictures or some kind of poltergeist haunting and making some corrupt file. This is a true serial killer, making these portraits after their victims' fates. We are then shown several more portraits that have been found, including one of the victims. Half of these names will be very important later on in the next episodes, but they all are the same thing. Victims of a murder and painted based on their fate. After seeing all the paintings that the police have found, there was a message that said police were mailed some photos. These weren't paintings, these were actual photos taken by the killer from a camera, and they are quite disturbing to say the least. Of course, it's the same kind of motive, I guess you could say, as the victim's names are written with the photos. On top of this, we are informed that 2 days ago the police found, yet again, another painting. However, this one is a lot more crucial to the investigation. A self-portrait. A self-portrait of the killer. This self-portrait is the only ID evidence of the killer, but as we go on, you'll see that there is a lot more crucial evidence with a lot more gruesome details. The second video starts off similar to the first one, on how it's most likely a police evidence report or some kind of documentation. This time it's about a police officer named Bill Collins, who went missing a few days ago. But it wasn't only just Bill Collins, it was also his family, his wife and 2 daughters. Days before his disappearance, the same portrait, self-portrait of the killer that we see in the last video was apparently found in his house, and he had no idea how he even got there. When the police investigated his house after he went missing, they found nothing besides his 2-month-old daughter hanged in the attic. A few days later, they found Colin's car in the ocean, or at least almost in the ocean. Inside the car, however, was a portrait, this time titled Long-Necked Angel. Obviously, a portrait of the 2-month-old. The search continued to an abandoned lighthouse that hasn't been in use for several years. On the door, there was another distorted painting, but we can't really make out anything besides what looks like a face. As the police went inside the lighthouse, instantly they found a charred corpse of a man named Daniel Williams. This is the same Daniel from the portrait we saw in the last episode. Police then went down an underground tunnel under the lighthouse and discovered 2 more bodies, this time one from a person named Jennifer and her daughter, Lisa. Both people were also in the last episode. And yeah, their fates weren't really good either. Afterwards, they then found a barrel emitting a very foul stench. If you know anything about true crime, you can probably already guess what's inside the barrel. Inside the barrel was the meat and bone remains of the Collin family, and scattered around the barrel were also photos of the Collins family before moments of death. And oh my god, this one is horrible. I hate this one out of all of them. I think this one takes the cake. But then there is a last photo. And just like before, we have more ID evidence of what the serial killer could look like. And honestly, I think this is probably really disturbing. The horror continues, and we go on to the third episode. In the third episode, we jump straight to the portraits of two twins, and they have went missing 10 days ago. We are then informed that their bodies have been found in a gruesome way at an abandoned paper. We are then informed exactly how the bodies were found. Both of them were cut in half and then sewn back together to make a third person, or at least what I would describe as a third person, with the rest of the remains just not being able to be found. We also learned that there was a brick that was violently shoved into the throat of the girl, and it had the word meat written on the brick. I don't know what this could indicate, but we'll probably find out on the fourth episode, if there even is one. We are then informed some background details about how Corey, the boy, was dared about a week ago to go into an abandoned house in a very excluded area. And anyone who has explored abandoned places should probably know that you should never go in abandoned buildings by yourself, especially if you're fucking 11, but let's just ignore that. However, according to his friends, after a few minutes of walking in the mansion, he ran out, swearing that he saw a face with a bruised arm. Of course, his friends most likely didn't believe him, and was just calling him a chicken. Yet, what they don't know is that he had evidence that he did see a face on his camera. We're then shown the photos that he's taken, and they're pretty bad. Never send this kid to be your wedding photographer, because he is horrible. We just see sticks, stones, and clearly a bunch of blurry stuff. But then there's the last photo, and it's quite terrifying. So far in the series, this is the clearest photo we have of this serial killer, and honestly, it is terrifying. The fact that he was able to get this close to the kid and not be detected is really terrifying, especially when you notice that he's looking directly into the camera, meaning he is looking directly at the boy. Some very terrifying stuff. We are then given a number and told that if we know any information to give the number a call. As far as I know, no one's really called the number yet, but there's a few channels that I've watched that were thinking about calling the number. I don't know what happens if you do, but if you manage to do it, just let me know in the comments what it does. It'll be really interesting, and I would appreciate it. However, the third episode is even more gruesome when you go back to the first one and realize that there's a painting called, yeah, I'm not going to say that name, indicating what could have happened to this so-called third body that the killer made. I'm not gonna go into detail, and I'm just gonna move on for YouTube's sake and my sanity. And honestly, just watching this won't give this guy justice. If you really want the true experience, I highly suggest you go to his YouTube channel and you watch all the videos by yourself. They are quite terrifying, and honestly, it's just more creepy than any other analog horror series that I've seen. I think mostly because that instead of it being about animatronics or some alien that can shapeshift into people, it's really realistic for what it is. And that's kind of sad to say, because that's just the darker valley of humanity, really. This could happen. This could be real. But as far as I know, and hopefully Urban Spook is an actual felon committing these crimes and he's just framing it as a fictional character. Please don't kill me, Urban Spook, if you're watching this. That's why this is more terrifying than anything I've seen. Urban Spooks, if you are watching this, it's a 50-50 chance. If you are, I just want to say, please keep doing this. This is probably one of the best things I've seen on YouTube so far. All the visuals are terrifying, and honestly, I'm actually on a cliffhanger. I am really invested into this story, even though how dark it is. Like, I'm actually just waiting for the next upload right now. So please keep it up, man. You're doing a great job. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please hit a like and maybe subscribe. I know I promised I would upload, and that's been a few months now, but I don't know. A lot of things happened in my life right now, and I just couldn't really keep it up. But I will try to upload more. Fingers crossed, at least. With that being said, have a great day, night, and, well, just try not to get nightmares.